Hi guys, it's Albert the Analyst back again with another video. This one about Bryan Levell. So, today we had a meet in Hungary that was, the Jamaicans definitely took over that meet, I feel. We had so much representation. We had Ashanti Moore in the 200. We had Shelly-Ann, Sharika in the 100. We had Kishane Thompson, Akeem Blake, as well as Ron Watson in the 100. We had Akira Nugent in the 100 meter hurdles. So, we were all over this meet, but it's no question that the best I guess you could, Mondo did do a world record. So the best Jamaican performance for sure at that meet was definitely by Bryan Levell with that insane 19.69 seconds. Now listen, a lot of us have said it where we're like, sometimes when when Bryan is running the curve, it's almost as though he's being very careful. But this time around, Bryan hit that curve. Bryan hit the curve, Bryan came off the curve, and Bryan maintained that speed. Bryan didn't lose any momentum. Bryan didn't waste any time on the curve, nothing. That was an amazing race. He led from gun to tape. The execution was amazing. The relaxation. I've said it in previous videos. What makes Bryan Levell so special, and how I know that he will continue to produce these times, whether under pressure or not under pressure, or at any track in the world, because some people were trying to call his 982 a fluke, which was ridiculous. Of course, mostly Americans, even though they have Eugene, which, Eugene, most of the times the athletes who run in Eugene never replicate those times in the world. Gabby Thomas, for example. So, when people say stuff like that, I'm like, come on, bro. How can you say that an athlete, especially a Jamaican, like the Jamaicans are known for going to Europe and dominating. In Tokyo in 2021, we dominated. Like, what? Fluke from us? Nah, no. So, he came out and, he showed us that, hey, that 982 was very real. That 982 could have been faster had I been able to properly execute at the Jamaican trials. Because I'm telling you, that boy would have went 9.7 had he been able to run at, at his best at the trials. So I am just so very proud of Bryan Levell. He's a very humble youth. You don't hear, you might not hear him speak much, but, he's working, he's cooking, So I just love how he was dominant. He's very dominant in high school. He kept winning at the 100 and the 200 in champs at Carifta. He, went pro in 2023. He built with Shaniki in 2023 and 2024. In 2023, he did very well for someone transitioning. 2024, he goes sub 10, and then 2025, boom, 982 and 969. Into a headwind, by the way. This was 19.69 into a minus 0.4 headwind, which indicates that this young man, by the time he peaks for Tokyo, he could be even in 19.4 shape. So, I'm just very, very proud of him. As I said, his execution it's just beautiful to see. The way he relaxes when he's running, it's so effortless. It reminds me of Usain Bolt. He honestly reminds me of Usain. That relaxation is just insane to watch. You almost feel as though he's not moving too fast. But then when you see how far behind everyone is, you're like, oh wait, he is moving fast. He's just so relaxed. And when you're relaxed as a sprinter, as a runner, in any event, any sport, once you're relaxed and you're focused, that is when you perform at your best. So I'm just really happy to see him do that. And I just can't wait to see what he brings, going forward for the rest of the races that he'll be running. I can't wait to see him in some Diamond Leagues. I've been saying I want to see him in the Diamond League. I want to see him in the 100, the 200. I feel these men can definitely push him to that 9.7 that I believe he can run. And for that 200, I want him to maintain this speed. Maybe run at least 2 more 200s going into Tokyo. Hopefully at least one on the Diamond League circuit. I would love to see him beat up those international boys so that he gets a feel of what it's like to compete against them, especially. Of course, he would have competed against him in Eugene, but I don't feel he got the opportunity to really show his speed since he was coming off of, the trials in Jamaica just like 2 weeks before Eugene. So I really want to see him on the circuit. The only way that of course as the Jamaica national champion over 200 meters, He will be competing individually in the 200 in Tokyo. The only way that he can get into the 100 individually is by winning the 100 meter title at the Diamond League. Now, of course, in order to do that, he must qualify for the Diamond League final, because I was informed that if they make him, for example, a wild card, he will, and even if he wins as the wild card, he wouldn't get the bye. He would have to go through to the final on points. Which, of course, in order to accumulate points, I think he needs he would need to win, or maybe even come top 3 in at least 2 Diamond Leagues. So, you know, that's a bit hard to ask. So, but let's see. You know, I honestly, I don't need to see him in the 100 in Tokyo this year. And so, you know, even if he doesn't go that route of trying to get through, you know, by getting that Diamond League title, I definitely expect to see him individually running the 100 next year and for the years to come, for sure, representing Jamaica. So yeah, but for the 200, I'm definitely looking forward to that. It's very clear that Bryan Levell can medal, no question about that. Bryan can medal, and I want him to strike gold. You know, I'm done doubting my athletes. I no longer doubt Jamaican athletes. When these athletes step to the line, they're not hoping to get bronze or silver. They're hoping to get gold. They're intending to win, because they've worked for this. They've bled for this. They've cried for this. They've stressed for this. They've, you know. So, a goal more, Bryan. I want gold from Bryan Levell. And Bryan Levell wants gold from Bryan Levell. And so that's what I want him to work towards, because if that young man can pull a 19.3 or a 19.4 out of his legs in that final in Tokyo, then he will be the world champion. So I just want him to continue building. I don't want for him to do too many races, but I know I don't have to worry about that based off of his schedule so far. It's not too heavy. It's just right. So I can't wait to see what happens. But yeah, medal contender for sure, and I want that medal to be gold. Of course, I'll settle for anything else. But I like to aim high, and then if I fall short, it's short. So, you know, if I aim for gold and I get silver, I'm fine. But always aim for the best. Aim for the crown. So yeah, that's what I want him to aim for, the crown. So yeah, man, just very, very proud of this young man. I can't wait to see what else he brings on. If I don't see Bryan Levell on that relay in Tokyo in the final, I'm gonna be upset. I expect for Bryan Levell to be on the 3rd leg in Tokyo, or maybe they might put him on another leg. But I expect to see Bryan Levell on the relay team in Tokyo. I feel like they could definitely do very well, maybe even challenge the world record. I've expressed it before. For that final, I would like for it to be Akeem Blake to Oblique Seville to Bryan Levell to Kishane Thompson. In the heats, I would like for it to be, it could, for example, be Rowan Watson to Oblique to Ford to Kishane. Or maybe they might scrap Rohan and just make it be Akeem to Oblique to Ford to Kishane for the prelims. But for the final, I definitely want for it to be Akeem to Oblique to Levell to Kishane. Those men could definitely do some damage, especially with some relay work, some teamwork, some chemistry and such, and of course some excellent passes. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to him. And also, while I really want to see what he does on the relay and how well we can perform with the relay, having Bryan Levell, I am focused on Bryan Levell individually. Bryan Levell is not running fast just to fill no relay spot. I hate how as soon as he runs fast, we start talking about the relay, which is why I held it for last in this video. Because I want to see Bryan Levell run very fast in the 100 and the 200, and then maybe I might think about the relay. He's not running for relay spots, he's running for individual spots, and it's unfortunate he didn't get the 100 spot, but he did get the 200 spot. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for awesome individual performances from Bryan Levell. I don't really care about him being on relay as much as most people seem to do, because relay is not his aim. Individual performance and excellence is his aim, and I endorse that. So yeah, man, looking forward to see what he does over the 100 and the 200, as well as the relay, of course, for the remainder of the season and for the seasons to come. Very, very proud of him. Yeah, man, so very proud of Levell. 1969. Can't be upset. Also, Wayne Van Niekerk came second in 20.07 for a season's best. Very proud of Wayne. He's making it, he's doing his thing. Of course, the 400 meter world record holder been dealing with injuries, so that's good for him. But yeah, man, Bryan Levell, 1969, Jamaica. Hats off to you. We're proud. Yeah, man. So remember to like, share, subscribe. I'll catch you another one. Bye. Albert the Analyst signing out.
away they go. Who's showing early? The athletes are Levell in 7 and Richardson in 8. The two red vests near the outside going really well at the moment. Good bend too by Van Niekerk in 5. Going strongly as Matsoso in lane 3. But look at this run from Bryan Levell of Jamaica. Steaming away with this one. Watch the clock.